I remember it vividly. It felt as if we were casting off the shackles of history, a continent united by freedom and democracy. If you told me then that in my lifetime we would see Russian tanks rolling into European cities again, I would not have believed you. Yet here we are, in a world where everything has changed. Because 3 years ago in Ukraine, that is exactly what happened. Just reflect on that for a second. I think it's worth it. Just imagine you're walking to work, taking your kids to school. Just another February morning like any other. Then suddenly, missiles, sirens, explosions, not in the distance, not on television, in your town, hitting your community, killing your friends, an invading army in your country.
The UK government, under Prime Minister Keir Starmer, has proposed deploying British peacekeeping troops to Ukraine. This proposal has been met with strong resistance from military officials, who argue that such a move is impractical and dangerous. Senior military leaders, including General Richard Matthews and Admiral Henry Westwood, have raised serious concerns. They cite resource limitations, the risk of escalation, and the inability of the UK's armed forces to sustain such a deployment. The British military has already been stretched thin by previous commitment, and sending troops to Ukraine could leave the UK vulnerable in other areas. Defense Secretary James Whittaker has warned that placing British soldiers in Ukraine would be perceived as direct intervention, potentially drawing the UK into a wider conflict with Russia. Historical precedents show that peacekeeping forces are only effective when all involved parties respect their neutrality.
Now, the people of Ukraine have woken up to this nightmare for 3 years now. Their courage is inspiring, and Britain can be proud of its response. British families have opened their doors to fleeing Ukrainians. The yellow and light blue flag flies on church halls and churches, the length and breadth of this country. And I will put on record again that I respect the robust response taken by the previous government. I supported it in opposition, and we have built on it in government, taking our support for Ukraine to record levels. But as the nature of that conflict changes, as it has done in recent weeks, it also brings our response.
Something unlikely in this conflict. Admiral Westwood has echoed these concerns, stating that rather than deterring aggression, such a move could provoke further hostilities. Parliamentary leaders, including MP Eleanor Hughes, have pointed out the financial strain this deployment would place on the UK. Public opinion remains divided, with some supporting stronger action against Russian aggression, and others questioning whether the UK can afford such a commitment, while domestic defense needs remain unmet.
London accelerates its military planning to prepare for a peacekeeping mission in Ukraine once a ceasefire agreement is reached. According to the UK government, the UK special forces have been placed on high alert for deployment, reports the I-Paper.
Prime Minister Starmer has defended his proposal, arguing that inaction is not an option. He insists that the UK must take a stronger role in supporting Ukraine beyond financial and military aid. However, faced with overwhelming opposition from both military officials and key government figures, his administration is being forced to reconsider the plan.
Special Forces units were told to prepare for mobilization to Ukraine by military planners tasked with readying forces by the Cabinet Office, according to 2 military sources with knowledge of the directive. The Command Centre for UK Military Planning, the Permanent Joint Headquarters, was sent directives last week to begin the process for the deployment of personnel and resources. From the I-Paper publication.
As discussions continue, the UK must weigh its commitment to Ukraine against the risks of direct military involvement. For now, alternative strategies such as increased intelligence sharing, logistical support, and continued financial aid appear to be the preferred course of action. The debate remains ongoing, with the future of British involvement in Ukraine uncertain.
Without providing Ukraine with security guarantees, Putin will violate any peace agreement, believes Keir Starmer. This is why London and its allies are moving from political support to Kyiv to military planning.
It is vitally important that we do that work because we know one thing for certain, which is a deal without anything behind it is something that Putin will breach. We know that because it's happened before, and I'm absolutely clear in my mind it will happen again. Therefore, what you're doing here today is vitally important to peace and security across Europe and for our NATO allies, and of course, crucially, for the United Kingdom.
The UK government has also assured that it is prepared to deter potential Russian aggression. In 2024, London announced large investments in its nuclear program. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak stated that more than £760 million will be invested in the sector by 2030. One component of the UK's nuclear deterrence is the Trident program. One submarine of this project can carry up to 16 ballistic missiles, each armed with 12 warheads. This means a single vessel could potentially deliver 192 warheads in one salvo.